I would like to respectfully acknowledge the territory in which we gather as the ancestral homelands of the Beothuk and the island of Newfoundland as the ancestral homelands of the Mi'kmaq and the Beothuk. I would also like to recognize the Inuit of Nunatsiavut and Nunatuakavut and the Innu of Nitassinan and their ancestors as the original people of Labrador. We strive for respectful relationships with all the peoples of this province as we search for collective healing and true reconciliation and honor this beautiful land together. Those who have found their calling in the social work profession have had a long and storied tradition of weaving and crafting the social fabric of Newfoundland and Labrador. So many lives have been touched by social workers. So many of our people have had their desire for social justice and equality nurtured by them. Our province has been changed dramatically, for the better, by the efforts of those involved in the many facets of social work. Social welfare initiatives began to evolve when Newfoundland was still a colony of Britain. As the permanent population increased, so did the growing social issues that demanded attention. Religious communities and charitable organizations played a large part in addressing these issues in the form of poor relief, education, and orphanages. In 1855, the government became involved when they created the Office of the Commissioner of Public Charities. For the next 80 years, relief work and aid was distributed by relief officers and magistrates. In 1935, an economically bruised and battered Newfoundland had a commission of government thrust upon it. This government, in conjunction with the newly formed Newfoundland Ranger Force, acted as the frontline emergency social work response for the welfare of rural communities and aid to the poor. When Newfoundland entered Confederation in 1949, the Department of Public Health and Welfare increased its number of regional welfare officers throughout Canada's newest province in an effort to address the challenges of massive poverty and suffering, especially in rural Newfoundland. Confederation brought social safety nets for basic necessities for the young and elderly in the form of old age pension and child care benefits. By 1953, more trained welfare officers were urgently required, and so a summer training program in social work was established. It was led by faculty from the University of Toronto's School of Social Work. Building on the success of this program, Memorial University, with the support from the Department of Public Welfare, established a 2-year diploma welfare program. The unforgettable Ella Brett, the former Assistant Director of Child Welfare, was the first full-time lecturer in this new diploma.
My exposure to Ella Brett was an experience in and of itself, and that was in the very, early, my second year university. I was only 17 years old, and this, like what I thought was a totally flamboyant, dark-haired, red lipsticked, woman who was just wonderful, started to open my mind to a whole different way of thinking.
2 years later, the diploma was developed into a Bachelor of Arts with a social welfare option. And in 1967, it reached the incredible milestone of producing its very first graduate. As professional degree programs began to emerge at Memorial, Dr. Frank Turner was recruited to develop the Bachelor of Social Work program, which was inspired by the unique history of social welfare in the province. He built a program with an international focus, drawing influences from the UK, Canada, and the USA. In 1968, he submitted his proposal to Senate. This hard work paid off when, with great pride, the School of Social Work saw its first graduates receive their degrees in May of 1970. 50 years later, and with over 2,300 alumni, the school continues its focus on diverse approaches to social work, while acknowledging the university's special obligation to the people of the province.
I started at the Waterford Hospital on Male 1A with a lab coat and a set of keys in my pocket, because in those days the social workers all wore white lab coats, and because everybody had locked doors and keys.
So in grade 11 at the time, we had a visit from government officials saying, you know, if you want to take, you become what they told us was welfare officer. But you could do child welfare, you could do corrections, rehab, daycare, you know, income support. So I had many choices.
I went and worked at the Grace Hospital, had children, went to work at the Miller Center, again with some older people at that time. I ended up going to Hoyles Escazone Complex and spent 11 years working in Hoyles Escazone. And during that period of time, I got my master's degree from here at Memorial University as well at the School of Social Work. And that would have been, I graduated from there in '98. And on I went.
Field education in social work continues to be a touchstone for both the school and the community. In March of 1969, Dr. Frank Turner led a weekend-long training workshop, and by October that year, the university approved the appointment of its very first field instructors. As early as 1970, social work students were among the first to utilize the Harlow campus for their field practica. Throughout the 70s, the field education program expanded, and today we place 75 students per semester in partner agencies here at home and all around the world.
In my experience, a good field instructor or a good supervisor can make a student or a social worker's career. The impact is unimaginable, or it can be unimaginable.
At the placement, I had some really great people around me who really helped me grow and learn, and to actually be able to graduate that year, or this year, I guess, and know that I felt confident to do that. So it was really a time to solidify who I was as a professional.
There have been some amazing students I've had an opportunity to do field instruction with, absolutely, some of whom who've gone on to teach for us here at Memorial.
Social work faculty are a diverse and dedicated group with a wide range of teaching, community, and research interests. Their dedication to the program continues to inspire our undergraduate and graduate students.
I have a deep commitment to Memorial, but specifically then to the School of Social Work. I've had most of my work life here, so clearly I am pretty committed. And that really motivated me to take on the role as Associate Dean for undergrad. I want to see the school succeed, do well. I want to see our students do well. I want to see Memorial do well.
I am open to a wealth of opportunities where I get a mentor to lead me and to guide me. And I feel that connection is stronger here at Memorial University.
I'd have to say from the undergraduate degree program, you know, one of, I think, the best teachers of the communication and the interviewing was Sheena Finley. And there are many of us who continue to say that to this day, that she actually taught us and taught us well.
Our undergrad program is still more of a traditional program, but it's also focused on serving largely the people of Newfoundland and Labrador. And I think probably its uniqueness may be that it brings a Newfoundland flavor.
Students of social work reach deep into the heart of our province and our world every single day. The experiences they take with them from their time here at Memorial provide them with a solid foundation for the incredibly important work they do in their communities.
It's opened up doors for me that I never even knew existed. I think when I went into social work in the beginning, I think my understanding of the profession was perhaps much more along traditional lines of social work practice. And I think the school, in both my undergraduate and my graduate program, I think it's prepared me to work on issues and to take on roles that I didn't even know were on the table.
I feel that the foundation that social work gave me here at Memorial when I did the training was so diverse that I was able to apply a lot of the skills I learned, whether they were in advocacy, mediation, facilitation, critical thinking, policy planning and development, community development, whichever route my career took me. I felt that I had a strong foundation from the training and education that I received at Memorial.
I think I had the people I needed around me, who were my professors, that believed in me and believed that I could overcome what I was going through and what I had gone through, and that I was going to become somebody who was quite powerful to create some type of change. And I don't know what that looks like yet, but I think it's just the beginning, and I think the School of Social Work really helped me get to that place.
The practice of social work could not and would not continue to evolve as it has without the people it serves. At its core, social work education strives to meet its special obligation to the people of the province of Newfoundland and Labrador and beyond.
It is really important to celebrate. 50 years is a big milestone of working sometimes in difficult conditions for the people of the province and for our clients generally, whether they're across Canada or globally.
If I could make a small impact on creating a paradigm shift where we have a world where we have moved from an institutional way of thinking about people and where they live at the end of their life to a community-based way of living, then I think I will have made a big difference to where seniors want to be at the end of their lives.
Everything is shifting and changing, you know? I mean, we're a relational profession, but the way people relate in 1971, 75, during my career, so on, and 2018, there's a lot of differences in how that relating happens. So I think as a challenge for the profession is to kind of make sure that we're always expanding enough to keep the essence, but be able to meet people at these various platforms that are different now.
As we mark 50 years of professional social work education here at Memorial, we take the time to celebrate the successes of all our graduates, to treasure the friendships we've made along the way, to share the stories of our history and the dreams of our future. A future we believe will continue to shine a light on the incredible impact social work has had in our communities. Most of all, we celebrate the people who built the social work program. The work of all those who have come before us has given us a solid foundation to meet the challenges of the next 50 years.
At our heart and soul as a profession, I think there will always be vulnerable people, and they will need people who can help them find their voice or be a voice for them when need be.